And today, we greet the President of United Earth.
What? What the fuck?
Hell no, to the no, 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 hell to the no.
Ay. Get the f*** out of here. Democrat Stacey Abrams. He's the gubernatorial election denier. She denied the results of a failed election. Oh, birds of a feather. Oh, but I'm sure Alex Kurtzman will have a special guest appearance by Donald Trump. I'm sure we can expect that. Because, we're inclusive. We're diverse. We accept people from all...
You serious?
Come on, Kurtzman. Add Trump.
We are going to make our country great again.
You really are crazy.
Well, howdy folks, this is your friendly neighborhood watchman, here with you today to talk about Paramount Studios and their foolish desire to walk in the footsteps of the Walt Disney Company in regards to following and spreading leftist woke agendas for all the good that will do to their profit margin. So with that said, let's jump into this article without delay from Bounding Into Comics by our friend John F. Trent with the heading, "Despite grinding businesses into the ground and destroying the fabric of societies, Paramount CEO Bob Bakish declares, quote, we will be more successful with diversity, equity, and inclusion at the core of our business," end quote. They'll never learn. Here we have Stacey Abrams as president of the United Earth in Star Trek Discovery back in 2022. From Paramount Plus. Paramount CEO Bob Bakish made the foolish and utterly inane pronouncement that his company will be more successful by embracing destructive diversity, equity, and inclusion policies. And then we have Bob Bakish, president and CEO, Viacom CBS, and Taylor Sheridan. Diversity, equity, and inclusion policies are objectively terrible for business and society. Bud Light parent company Anheuser-Busch reported in August that the company's U.S. revenue fell a whopping 10.5% after it faced a boycott from Americans for promoting transgender ideology. Volition Games was shut down by Embracer Group after they embraced diversity, equity, and inclusion policies in their Saints Row reboot game. The game's sales were atrocious. The Walt Disney Company is facing a hostile takeover from investor Nelson Peltz after they campaigned against a bill trying to prevent children in kindergarten to third grade from being exposed to instruction on sexual orientation and gender identity. Not only did Disney try to stop the state of Florida from preventing child abuse, but their box office grosses have tanked as they pumped out woke film after woke film. Their Disney Plus streaming service, full of woke programming, loses millions of dollars every quarter. The list goes on. Despite this overwhelming evidence of how disastrous these policies are, the Hollywood Reporter's George Saleh reports that Paramount CEO Bob Bakish attended Paramount's 5th annual Global Inclusion Week, where he declared, quote, I, our senior leadership team, and our board believe that we will be more successful with diversity, equity, and inclusion at the core of our business, end quote. He added, we all come from different places, and understanding people's perspectives is actually what this week is all about. diversity, equity, and inclusion is fundamental to our business, as is virtue signaling. Bakish was not alone in his comments. Marva Smalls, Paramount Executive VP and head of the Office of Global Inclusion, revealed the whole DIE initiative the company has embraced was a United Kingdom government action. Well, jolly good, Governor. She said Inclusion Week actually began in the UK in 2018 in response to a call to action from the UK government for corporations to really spotlight the importance of diversity, equity, and inclusion. It ignited something in us to say, wow, what a great concept, to create an immersive experience to amplify our commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion, she continued. So we took that seed of an idea from the UK and then in 2019 amplified it across our footprint with heavy emphasis in the UK, the US, Los Angeles, with a theme of Be You, Belong. Jesus, that's an export we did not need to import here. We suffer enough from woke fools and their ideas over here. We don't need more from other countries. But I digress. Smalls will go on to try and justify these failed policies that are in the process of ruining once lauded companies. For us, the business case for diversity is the business. It is not something we do in our spare time and pull off a shelf to check the box, she elaborated. So it is not about a transaction, but it is really personalized, deeply seated, and rooted in our business practices every day. When we say inclusion is paramount, we mean inclusion is paramount. So while we have this immersive experience once a year, not unlike other programs, it is just knitted and threaded together as part of the fabric. She went on to reveal how integrated these policies are into the business of Paramount. It is integrated and there is a steady cadence. We also have Bob Bakish in our senior leadership team meeting. We talk about DE&I in that meeting. It is so seemingly integrated, Smalls asserted. We don't have to say, oh, today is a diversity moment. Inclusion Week is not unlike TED talks that are curated to create this moment of immersion and retooling. Smalls said, times of challenges and uncertainty, where some communities may feel marginalized or disenfranchised, are just a reminder that the core values of Paramount mean that we never take our foot off the gas and drive a culture that is very equitable, inclusive, and that creates a sense of belonging. What we also hope to be is a model for the industry and all like-minded partners in this space, that we really can create the change we want to see, she added. Ironically, former Marvel Studios VP Victoria Alonso made similar comments at the height of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Back at the Annecy International Animation Film Festival in June 2021, Alonso explained Marvel's business. Quote, the reason we have that success consistently is because our audience is global. You cannot have a global audience and not somehow start to represent it. For us, it was really, really, really important to have that, end quote. For the longest of time, we heard a woman-led film would never open. I say, please check. Captain Marvel made a lot of money. Then they always told us that Black Panther was never going to open. Who's they? And that nobody wanted a completely black cast.
What you talking about?
And that made $1.3 billion. So you can look at it from the social point of view, the cultural point of view. But truthfully, this is a business from a fiscal point of view. You are leaving money on the table by not representing, she explained. Yeah, and a large part of the audience that watched Black Panther were white. Hispanics and Asians also. Anybody that was a fan back then of the MCU and enjoyed the movies for the action-packed escapism that they were before this massive push of woke ideology. The first Iron Man, starring, of course, Robert Downey Jr., was fantastic. That started off the whole MCU. That was back in 2008.
That's how Dad did it. That's how America does it. And it's worked out pretty well so far. For your consideration, the Jericho.
Before all of this, wokeness really hit its stride, and that seems a lifetime ago. 15 years now. Time flew by, and although visual effects may have gotten better, these movies have not. But I digress. She then provided some numbers about Marvel's audience. I think 51% of our audience is female. 28% of our audience is Hispanic. If we don't represent the people that watch what we make, eventually they'll go elsewhere because somebody else will figure it out. Alonzo concluded, we can only tell stories if we succeed and actually have money to make them. So the idea being, if it makes money, why not make it? To me, it seemed like a very simple equation. But it took a lot of time, a lot of talking. Alonzo is no longer with Marvel Studios. Gasp. What a shocker. Egad, color me shocked. Color me surprised. And has had a string of box office losers that embraced this model, including this year's Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. In June, one analyst estimated the Walt Disney Company, Marvel Studios' parent company, had lost nearly $900 million at the box office in just the last year. Clearly, Paramount does not see the massive warning signs telling them that these policies are atrocious and suicidal. It begs the question of how long until a Nelson Peltz comes knocking at their door. Hopefully not too long, for our sakes. By ours, I mean we with the common sense here. Well, folks, how do you feel about Paramount's eager adoption of diversity, equity, and inclusion policies in their product, in the films and TV shows that they produce and will be producing? What people like myself want to watch something to be entertained, to be moved, to laugh, to be amazed, whether it be comedy, drama, sci-fi, fantasy, animation. We don't want nor need to be lectured. We don't need woke ideology pushed upon us. Just entertain us and leave the other garbage outside at the door. And if these companies stubbornly continue to push this crap, well, hopefully that old saying, go woke, go broke, will come to fruition. So kiddies, with that said, we come to the end of this video. If you agree, please hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already done so. And shame on you if you haven't already. And hit that notification bell if you want to be forewarned for whenever I drop another video. And as always, stay safe and I bid you peace.